My mom chooses her controlling boyfriend over us, letting him terrorize my sister and trash our lives while she calls me selfish for fighting back. Am I wrong to hate this? So, I've been lurking on Reddit for a while, and I finally decided it's time to spill this mess and get some outside perspective. I'm 24, stuck in this messed up family situation, and I don't even know where to start. I guess the short version is, my mom's picking her new boyfriend over me and my little sister, and it's tearing everything apart. But it's not just that. She's full-on defending this guy even when he's being a total jerk to us. I'm at my breaking point, and I need to figure out if I'm overreacting or if this is as bad as it feels. Let me back up and give you the whole picture. My mom's 45, been a single mom since I was 10. My dad walked out after years of fighting with her. Nothing dramatic like cheating, just two people who couldn't stand each other anymore. Growing up, it was just the three of us. Me, Mom, and my sister Ellie, who's 16 now. Mom worked her butt off to keep us afloat. Waitressing, odd jobs, whatever she could find. I've always respected her for that. She wasn't perfect, sure, but she was there. She'd come home exhausted, still make us spaghetti, and we'd watch dumb reality shows together. That's how it was for years, and I thought we were solid. Then, about 8 months ago, Travis showed up. He's 40, some guy she met through a friend at work. At first, I didn't care. Mom's been single forever, and if she wanted to date, fine. Good for her. Travis came off charming enough in the beginning. He's got this loud laugh, always cracking jokes, bringing Mom flowers. Ellie and I were like, okay, whatever, as long as she's happy. But that didn't last long. It started with little things. He'd make these snide comments. Like once, I was heating up leftovers, and he goes, "You're gonna burn the house down if you don't watch that microwave." I laughed it off, but his tone wasn't joking. Then he started hanging around our place more, acting like he owned it. Mom rents this small house. 2 bedrooms, a cramped living room, kitchen you can barely turn around in. It's not much, but it's ours. Or it was. Now Travis is there all the time, leaving his boots by the door, blasting his music, eating our food like he's paying the bills. Ellie noticed it first. She's always been quiet, super sensitive. She's the kind of kid who cries if she sees a hurt animal on TV. She told me a couple months in that Travis freaked her out. "He yells too much," she said one night, curled up on her bed with her headphones on. I brushed it off then, figured she was just adjusting. But then I saw it too. He'd snap at her over nothing. Like if she left a glass on the counter, he'd go, "What's wrong with you? Clean up your crap." Mom would jump in and say, "Oh, he's just teasing." But Ellie'd shrink into herself every time. It got worse. One night, I came home from my shift. I work part-time at a coffee shop while figuring out my next move, and Travis was in the living room, screaming at Ellie. She'd spilled soda on the couch, this old ratty thing we've had forever. He was towering over her, red in the face, yelling, "You're so damn clumsy. No wonder this place is a dump." Ellie was crying, shaking, and I lost it. I stepped in and told him to back off. He turned on me, got in my face and said, "You don't tell me what to do in my house." His house? I was like, "Dude, you don't even pay rent." I waited till he stormed out, then went to Mom. She was in the kitchen, chopping onions like nothing happened. I said, "You heard that, right? He's scaring Ellie." She sighed, didn't even look up, and goes, "He's just stressed from work. You two need to give him a break." A break? Couldn't believe it. I pushed back, told her he's got no right to talk to us like that, and she snapped. "I deserve to be happy for once," she said. "You don't get how hard it's been for me. He's good to me, and you're making this harder than it needs to be." That was the first time I realized she wasn't going to take our side. From there, it's been a slow-motion train wreck. Ellie's basically a ghost now. She used to be this goofy kid, always drawing, blasting her music, dragging me to watch her dumb YouTube videos. Now she barely leaves her room. I'll knock on her door, and she'll mumble, "I'm fine." But I know she's not. Her grades are tanking. She went from BS to DS in like 2 months. Her teachers called Mom, but Mom just said, "She's being dramatic. She'll snap out of it." I've tried talking to her, but she just stares at the floor. Last week, I found her crying in the bathroom, and she admitted she's scared of Travis. He looks at me like he hates me, she whispered. I hugged her, told her I'd figure it out, but I don't even know how. Then there's the stuff with me. Travis doesn't just yell, he's destructive. A month ago, I came home and found my laptop smashed. It's this beat-up old thing I use for work and applying to jobs. But it's mine. The screen was cracked, keyboard half ripped off. I asked Ellie what happened, and she said Travis threw it off the table during some rant about clutter. I went to Mom, furious, and she goes, "He didn't mean it. You shouldn't have left it out." I told her I need it for work, that it's not okay, and she doubled down. "You're 24, you can replace it. Stop acting like a kid." I spent 2 weeks' pay getting it fixed, and Travis didn't even apologize. Just smirked when he saw me using it again. That's when I started fighting back more. I'd call him out every time he crossed a line, like when he told Ellie she's useless for forgetting to take out the trash. Mom hated it. She'd pull me aside and say, "Why can't you just get along? I've sacrificed everything for you, and now you're ruining this for me." It's like she thinks I owe her for raising me, and that means letting her boyfriend treat us like garbage. Once, she even said, "You're jealous because I finally have someone." Jealous? Of that creep? Couldn't even respond. Things hit a new low last week. I was in the kitchen making coffee, and Travis barged in, already in a mood. He started ranting about how this family's a mess, and how we're ungrateful brats. I told him to leave if he hates it so much. He got in my face, poked my chest, and said, "You're lucky I don't knock you out." I shoved him back. Not hard, just enough to get him off me, and he flipped. He grabbed a mug off the counter and smashed it on the floor, screaming about respect. Ellie ran in, saw it, and bolted back to her room. Mom came home right after, and when I told her what happened, she took his side. "You provoked him," she said. "He's not perfect, but you're making it worse." I was done. I yelled, first time in forever, told her she's picking a guy she's known for 8 months over her own kids. She started crying, saying I don't understand how lonely she's been, how Travis makes her feel alive again. I get it, I do. She's had it rough. I remember nights when I was 12, hearing her cry in her room after a double shift, thinking we didn't notice. I'd make her tea, sit with her, try to cheer her up. Back then, I'd have done anything to see her smile. But this? Letting him terrorize us? I can't wrap my head around it. Then my dad got involved. He lives an hour away, remarried, but we still talk sometimes. I vented to him about all this, and he called Mom to sort it out. Big mistake. She lost it, called me a traitor for dragging him into it, said I'm trying to ruin her life. Dad offered to let Ellie stay with him for a while, but Mom shut that down, saying he's got no claim to us anymore. Now she's barely speaking to me, and Travis is acting smug, like he's won. I feel like I'm drowning. Ellie's a wreck. I can't stand seeing her like this. I keep replaying every fight, wondering if I'm too harsh, if I should just shut up and let Mom have this. But then I think about that smashed laptop, Travis's threats, Ellie crying in the dark. I've thought about moving out, but I can't afford it yet, and I'd never leave Ellie behind. I've even wondered if I should call the cops next time he gets physical. But Mom would hate me forever. Last night was the tipping point. Travis was yelling again. Something about the TV being too loud, and Ellie dropped a plate trying to get away from him. It shattered, and he grabbed her arm, screaming about how clumsy she is. I pulled her away, told him to keep his hands off her, and he shoved me into the wall. Mom walked in, saw it, and still told me to calm down. I took Ellie to her room, locked the door, and we just sat there, listening to them argue downstairs. She was shaking, and all I could do was hold her and promise I'd fix it. But how? I'm so tired. I keep thinking about those old days. Mom laughing at my terrible attempts to cook, Ellie drawing goofy pictures for the fridge. Now the house feels like a war zone. The living room's tense, the kitchen's a minefield. Even the air feels heavy. I don't know if I'm wrong for pushing back, for not just sucking it up so Mom can have her happiness. Maybe I am dramatic, like she says. Maybe I'm making it harder. But I can't let Ellie keep suffering, and I can't keep pretending this is fine. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Am I the bad guy here? I just want my sister safe and my mom to see what's happening, but it feels like I'm losing them both. Update. The updates since that time. So, it's been about 5 months since everything went down, and I figured it's time to fill you guys in on what's happened. Life's been a roller coaster. Some days I think I've got a handle on it. Others I'm just trying not to lose it completely. The whole mess with Mom and Travis didn't just fizzle out after that last blow-up. It's morphed into something else, and I'm still picking up the pieces. Here's where things stand with me, Ellie, Mom, and Travis, plus a new headache that's popped up. After that night with the plate and Travis shoving me into the wall, I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I told Mom flat out that if she didn't do something about him, I was done trying to make this work. She cried, yelled, the usual, but then she shocked me. She said she'd talk to him, get him to calm down. I didn't buy it at first, but for a couple weeks, things actually got quieter. Travis wasn't around as much, and when he kept his mouth shut. Ellie started coming out of her room more, even smiled once when I made her pancakes. I thought maybe, just maybe, Mom was finally seeing it. But that didn't last. About a month later, I came home from work and found Travis back on the couch, feet up, acting like nothing ever happened. Mom was in the kitchen, humming, like we'd all signed some truce I didn't remember agreeing to. I asked her what the hell was going on, and she said, he apologized, and I told him he's welcome here as long as he respects you kids. Respects us? I pointed out he'd never even said sorry to me or Ellie, and she just shrugged. He's trying, she said. You need to meet him halfway. Halfway with a guy who smashed my laptop and grabbed my sister? I was livid, but I didn't blow up, not yet. Ellie, though, she's not the same. She's still quiet, but it's different now. She's got this edge to her, like she's bracing for the next hit. She turned 17 a couple months ago, and I threw her a little party. Just us, some cake, her favorite cheesy horror movies. She laughed a bit, but I could tell she was forcing it. She's been sneaking out at night, too. I caught her climbing back through her window once, smelled cigarettes on her jacket. She begged me not to tell Mom, said she's just hanging out with some kids from school. I didn't push, but it kills me. She never used to be like this. I keep thinking if I'd gotten her out sooner, she wouldn't be spiraling. Mom's dug in deeper with Travis. They're basically inseparable now. He's not yelling as much, but he's still a jerk in subtle ways, leaving passive-aggressive notes about cleaning up or glaring at me when I walk by. Mom's blind to it. She started calling him part of the family, which stings worse than anything. I overheard her on the phone once, bragging about how he's turned things around, like he's some redemption story. Meanwhile, I'm sleeping on a mattress that creaks every time I move, still saving up to get out, and Ellie's turning into someone I barely recognize. Family, my a-hole. I've changed too. I'm angrier than I used to be. Work's noticed. I snapped at a customer last week over a spilled latte, almost got written up. I've been picking up extra shifts, though, and I've got enough saved now to maybe swing a cheap apartment. I told Ellie she could come with me, and she nodded, but I don't know if she believes I'll actually pull it off. I want to so bad, but every time I bring it up with Mom, it's a fight. She says I'm abandoning her, that I'm selfish for tearing us apart. Last time, she even threw in, "You're just like your father," which hit me like a truck. I walked out mid-sentence, didn't talk to her for days. Then there's the new problem. Travis is pushing to move in officially. Not just crashing here, he wants his name on the lease. Mom brought it up casually over dinner a couple weeks ago, like it was no big deal. It'd help with rent, she said. And he's here all the time anyway. I nearly choked on my food. Ellie went pale, didn't say a word, just left the table. I told Mom it's a terrible idea, pointed out everything he's done, how he's still a loose cannon, but she waved it off. He's committed to me, she said. You don't get what that means. Committed? More like he's got her wrapped around his finger. Came to a head 3 days ago. Travis showed up with a duffel bag, started unpacking in the living room like it was settled. I lost it. Told him he's not welcome, that this isn't his house. He laughed, called me a little punk, and Mom jumped in, screaming at me to stop being disrespectful. Ellie was there, watching from the hallway, and I saw her flinch when Travis raised his voice. That's when I knew I couldn't keep doing this dance. I grabbed my keys, told Ellie to pack a bag, and walked out. Mom was yelling after me, "You're throwing away everything I've built." But I didn't look back. We crashed at my friend's place that night. Me on the couch, Ellie on an air mattress. She didn't say much, just hugged me before she fell asleep. Next day, I called Dad. He's been texting me since that last mess, offering help, and I finally took it. He's letting us stay with him for a bit. Says he'll cover Ellie's school stuff till I get on my feet. Mom's furious. Left me a voicemail saying I've stolen Ellie and ruined her life. Travis got on the line too, threatening to deal with me if I keep meddling. I saved it just in case. Now we're at Dad's. It's weird, his place smells like pine and coffee, not like home used to. Ellie's got her own room here, and she's already stuck some of her old drawings on the wall. She's still quiet, but yesterday she asked if we could get pizza and watch those horror movies again. It's small, but it's something. I'm still working, still saving, and I've got a lead on a place for us in a couple months. Dad's been chill, doesn't push, just checks in. It's not perfect, but it's better than dodging Travis's tantrums. Mom's texted a few times, mostly guilt trips. How could you do this to me? But nothing about Ellie. I think she's too proud to admit she's wrong. Travis is probably in our house right now, spreading out his junk, and it makes me sick. I keep wondering if I should have stayed, fought harder. But then I see Ellie's face relax a little more each day, and I know I couldn't. The new problem, Travis on the lease, means Mom's tied to him even tighter. If he's locked in, she's stuck, and I don't know how to pull her out. Part of me wants to try, but I'm so done being the punching bag. Ellie's my priority now. I just hope she doesn't keep slipping away, that I can fix what's broken in her. And me. I'm still pissed, still tired, but I'm moving forward, one step at a time. So yeah, that's the update. Am I out of line for cutting Mom off like this? I don't even know anymore.
Thanks for being here. Toss a like, subscribe, and catch my other stories.